You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your overworked, underpaid, and yet freakishly loud host. And with me, as always, is my partner.
It's Rocco.
It's Rocco. All right, Rocco. Since you got nothing more to add to the broadcast in your name, you know that means you must suffer through the engineering joke of the week. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Why was the engineering textbook so sad?
Why?
Because it had too many problems. Huh? Yeah. Just when you think they can't get worse. Oh, I always manage. Finding new depths. That's what I do. All right. All right, folks. So let's get into the show today. So one of the things that we've talked a lot, and I do mean a lot, about on this program is the shortage of skilled technology experts, right? Particularly in the design build world. It's been a major problem for all of our clients for years now. And by every metric that I can see out there, it is projected to become substantially worse over the next decade, right? As a large portion of CAD or construction technology, what we call Contech, BIM, VDC, and just other skilled technology workers are hitting retirement age. Estimates put as many as 60% of the people in our industry, right, working in those spaces as retiring by the end of this decade. And that is going to be a major hit for the design build world when we are already struggling to make do without enough people to fill all the positions that we have open today. Now, look, the marketing folks at the software companies are all going to tell you about how AI is going to fill that gap. And that is just, it's a flat out lie. You guys.
Oh, no. Hold on, folks.
Yeah, hold on. Jim's going to go on his AI rant yet again. As I've said many times before, you've all heard me preach about it a lot of times on this program. AI does not exist. Not yet, right? You're talking machine learning. And machine learning is great. It helps things move faster, right? But it can't make decisions. It can't implement new strategies, right? Which is what we need in our daily work as technology changes and expands. Right? What we are going to need is a better way of handling our advanced software systems when we don't have access to internal staff with those really high-end skill sets. Right? And that's kind of what I want to talk about on today's show. Right? So Rocco, let's kind of start with a baseline of need. How many clients that you talk with are struggling to find, CAD managers and tech leads or, context specialists?
It's a daily discussion.
So I'm going to assume that's a lot.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. And if they, if they're staffed and happy with their staff today, call them in a month.
Yeah, that's very true. It's a really
change.
Volatile market, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yep.
So, yeah, no doubt. Like I said, I hear the same thing when I'm talking to clients. It's a nonstop problem, right? So the question is, what is the answer here, right? How do we address our need, right, to have CAD managers and context specialists and the like to, develop and implement and support the technologies that we need every day? Who's going to work with our construction managers and our design staff to get jobs done efficiently when there is such a shortage of skilled technology people in our space? The answer that I see here, it's the concept of managed services. Now look, managed services, it's not an original concept. It has been around in the IT world for quite a while now. It's where we hire consulting firms that come in and they handle all of our hardware and our backups and our security needs and our, updates and patches, right? That's, when your servers are slow, right? Or somebody can't access their emails or whatever other hardware or IT related issues that come up, right? We call our IT providers to handle those things. It's a very common setup. And those people, they also make recommendations for us, like on, what are the new systems we should get or what security concerns should we be addressing because of the latest, whatever spam issue or whatever going on out there, right? You ask these guys because they're experts in those fields, right? Which most of the people listening here are not. You're not an expert in IT. That's why you hire those IT guys, and on the design build side of things, we need those same kind of experts in the CAD, the BIM, the VDC, the project management, estimating, scheduling, whatever, right? Just dozens of different environments who can handle all of those, standard development, configuration, support of those software packages that we're all working with every day. And look, in the past, right, companies have hired individuals, right, to do that type of work in-house, right? Which is kind of the problem. They're just not available. So I see more and more companies struggling, either to find or even to afford people with those skill sets, right? Because of the shortages in our industry, the salary ranges for, these context specialists and CAD management specialists, that staff, have gone up over 60% in the last 10 years. I mean, the average salary for a CAD manager in 2014 was like 88 grand, and it's now over 137K. Right? That's a dramatic increase. I know I ain't got that kind of raise. I wish I had. So Rocco, which comes up more in conversations with our clients, right? About, finding these, the correct tech staff for this stuff. Or do you find that they're struggling more with finding the qualified people, or are they struggling more with the cost of hiring them once they get them?
No, it's the finding and maintaining. I mean, money's always a problem for everybody, right? I mean, that's just a constant thing. But I think a bigger problem right now is just finding and maintaining staff. We were talking just yesterday with a customer of ours, a big construction company out in California. And I asked him, I said, so how are you guys doing with staff? Are you guys growing? And he said, well, it's hard to say, because people come and people go. There's so much of a, not that in a negative light that it's a revolving door, but I mean, so many people move around. And so it sometimes it's hard for them to even keep track of their existing count of staff because there's so much fluctuation. So the money's I think a secondary factor to finding qualified staff that want to stick around.
Yeah, and it's and I think to be fair about that, with that churn, that's everywhere, and money is a part of that churn, right? Because why are those people leaving? It's not because that client we were talking to is not a great employer, right? They're a really good company and very nice people. We've been working with them for years. But at the end of the day, their best skilled workers are being hired away, with more money by another firm, right? It's just an extremely competitive market for those tech positions. So, I think that, hiring a consulting firm, right, to handle managed services in this design build tech space for your company, it's a relatively new concept, but I think it can work out really well for you. Like I said, the truth is most highly skilled tech people, they really love doing tech work. That's why they're so good at it. And they generally do not like working on your day-to-day construction or design jobs. That's not their focus, right? They don't want to go meeting with the client and get yelled at because things are over budget or over schedule, right? They don't want to go out to the job site in the mud and the rain and scramble, work until 11 at night, meeting crazy deliverable deadlines. These are people who love to, sit at their computer and they want to develop new processes and new standards and better and faster ways of addressing all those daily issues that you see. And look, trust me on this one. That has been me my entire adult life. It's kind of why I started Zentech, right? So I could focus on the part of my skill set that I loved the most. And the problem is, those tech folks are really good at what they do. right? That you just when you've got that kind of interest, you're the best at that particular system or process. And that's why you guys out there always make them work billable jobs, because they're the best at this. And that's kind of the big catch-22 here, right? The folks who are most qualified to do your tech work are the ones that you can't afford to let go and do that tech work. You need them working billable stuff. And that leads to frustration, right? And the people with the skills that you need tend to gravitate to other companies who are going to let them indulge their tech development needs, right? And usually pay them more money for it as well. Look, in short, your people want to come work for Zentech or a company like ours. And that's not bad, right? What it does, though, is it leaves you with the solid mid-level technicians, right? Those people who are great at the day-to-day grind, right? They know how to get this stuff done. They get it done well. It's accurate. But they don't have the skills or the drive or the desire to develop and optimize entire workflow processes, even if you could spare them, right, from the billable jobs to give them the time it would take to do that. So that's kind of where I want to focus. So, on that note, I tell you what, let's take a quick break here so that you all can hear from today's sponsor. And when we come back, I want to get into the details of managed services, right, and what they can and what they can't do. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. Hey, everybody. This is Jim and Rocco with Zentech Consultants. And we wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the training options that we have available here for you guys at Zentech Consultants. We offer public training classes as well as private custom courses for all of your software and design needs. So, Rocco, why don't you tell the folks what kind of training we offer and how do they reach out to us to get it going for them?
Yeah, Jim, we cover everything from Bluebeam to Autodesk to Microsoft to BricsCAD. To civil site design training and beginner through to advanced level topics. Like you said, both public and private courses. If you got a group and want to run a class specifically for your team, we can help you. So just feel free to hit our website. We're at zentechconsultants.net. That's ZENTEK, or you can give us a ring, 866-824-4459. Or even drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
There you go, Zentech Consultants for all of your technology training need. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about managed services in the software space for the design and build industries. Now, look, I'm sure you guys won't be surprised to hear that this is an area that Zentech is expanding into very quickly. We see the massive need that companies out there have for qualified, CAD, BIM, content management, and the support, right, and that goes along with that, right, and the struggles that they're facing trying to address those needs. So we've put together like fixed fee annual contracts to address these, right, with our managed CAD services program right now. And we're getting ready to do the same thing for, contact services, over the next few months, right? And then I'll be nice. I'll give Rocco a chance to pitch those services at you guys in a little bit. But I really want to focus on the benefits of managed services contracts first, right? And look, I think the two biggest things here are, the benefits that you guys are going to see with this type of a structure. Whether it's with Zentech or somebody else, doesn't matter. They're going to be your cost savings and your skill sets. Look, on the skill set side, all of the people who are working at a technology consulting firm, whichever one you choose to work with, they're those people that I talked about in the first half of the show. They're geeks like me who live to delve deep into the software systems, right, and build the best, smartest, fastest processes imaginable. And when those people move out of, your daily design, build, grind on projects, they naturally gravitate to technology consulting firms, right? So we always have the best people working for us, right? I think the other benefit is the cost savings, right? I pointed out that, the average salary range for, these CAD, BIM, Contech managers, it's around $137K a year. But that's just base salary, right? That does not include benefits and taxes and insurances and time off and all the other overhead items that we all need to pay for employees, right? So the real price to you is going to be much higher if you're looking to hire someone at that skill level direct. Technology consultants like Zentek, right? We can spread those costs across multiple clients, right? So the annual fees for a managed services contract is substantially lower to you than hiring directly for these high skill positions. Okay, Rocco, sales pitch time, right? We'll let you wake up and do your job here. What managed services do we have on offer right now, and where do people go to find out details?
Well, they're managed services on the CAD end, so we're looking at products like Revit, Civil 3D, and AutoCAD as the core. And we can certainly support other products if needed, but those are the core that we're working with at the moment. And look, the reality is we service small to medium-sized firms with these services. We'd love to be able to service your AECOM, but I think they're pretty much all set. So
I think they got it
covered. So just understand that we're small business to small business here, and Jim will expand here on the details, but you're not looking at having to hire us for a 40-hour-a-week job here. It's we're talking part-time as you need as a part-time work, and it could vary. You could hire us for a certain number of hours to service your Civil 3D needs and a certain number of hours to service your Revit needs. So my point is that don't overestimate and think that it's going to cost you a ton of money, because we're trying to be reasonable here with our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that's a perfect lead in, right? To kind of talk about the concept of how does this actually work, and the idea is actually pretty simple. So you're going to hire a tech consultant to handle all of your, configuration, setup, standards, updates, and so on, right? All the things that you normally pay a full-time employee to handle. And the managed service usually charges a fixed fee for every platform that they're setting up and supporting for you, right? Along with a menu list, we'll say, of prices for things that they can handle that fall outside of the managed services, right? Things like, training, or if you need project level support work, for example, those are probably going to be billed on an hourly as needed basis, right? Whereas things like developing, new templates, or adjusting your layer states, or, configuring the integration between your, construction management system and your accounting package, those are things that are likely going to be included in a managed service, right? In general, a managed services contract for CAD or construction technology, it's likely to limit, like Rocco was saying, the number of hours per week that the consultant's going to work on your projects. Realistically, right, we can't devote all of our tech staff to be a full-time employee for you and charge you less than we'd have to pay for that employee, right? It doesn't make sense. From the consultant's end, from our end, we are having multiple technology specialists who are supporting each client based on their field of expertise, right? And we put caps on the hours that they can put in for you each week, right? So we have our Revit guys doing your Revit needs, and our Civil 3D guys doing your Civil 3D, and we keep the best people working, so we have multiple people hitting your job, but working together to make sure you're getting consistent output. And that allows for a remarkable amount of productivity, right? Because our people's focus is entirely on the development of better systems and better processes for you, without the need to, talk about all the different jobs you have currently running, right? Or being distracted by the office small talk, or, having to listen to the client yell because something didn't go the way he thought it would, right? All of those other things that a direct employee has to deal with. We don't have to, right? The other thing that you'll want to keep in mind here is that for every system that you need a consultant to support, there's going to be a fee. Right? So, if you're working with one of the design suites, right? Or if you're using 3 or 4 different software packages to handle all your construction management work, you are going to pay a little bit more for each additional software system, right? That the managed service is going to have to include, right? Things like, workflow, process development, meetings, and things like that. Those are just usually included in the base managed services, right? And those are just capped, right, at a max number of hours. We'll get involved with them, each week. So Rocco, like we've been talking about, we have our managed CAD services on the website, and people can go look at those, and we have that now. But what other areas are we looking at developing into this, the managed service offerings here at Zentech?
The same on the construction side. So, we work with tons of folks that are using Bluebeam and Procore and the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So those services could be combined as part of this program as well. And again, tailored towards your small to medium sized business.
Yeah, and we also integrate, just to throw from my end on the tech side, right? We're also Microsoft partners, so we do integrate all of the Microsoft 365 into that for communication and collaboration and hosting and so on. So we can pretty much handle just about everything you guys are doing. But look, at the end of the day, the managed services concept, it's one that has been proven highly effective in the IT and the hardware environments. And I really think it's going to prove out as an invaluable tool for the design and build spaces over the next few years. The idea of a fixed fee, affordable tech support staff that is an expert in the processes and the systems that you guys are working, in every single day, that's a really attractive concept for most companies. And I think when you compare the potential cost savings and the difficulty in finding good people with those advanced skill sets in our industries, it becomes even more of a no-brainer to engage with a consultant that you trust to learn your current processes, right? Make recommendations for improvements, and develop and document and implement those changes for every system that you guys are working with. And beyond that, you guys know, technology is constantly changing and advancing. And keeping your internal staff trained and active on, and on top of that, it's no small task, right? And if you let a consultant whose primary focus is being, that expert, if you let the consultant handle all the new tools and the new procedures and kind of parse out and recommend which ones are going to work best for you and your company, that's a far more efficient process. Long term, you're going to develop a trust relationship, right, with your managed tech service people, just like you guys have with your IT groups today, right? All of these design build related processes, updates, configurations, they just become another budget line item each year, right? Without all of the hiring and firing and HR related messes and expenses that you get with an employee, assuming that you can even find one with such a wide array of tech skills. It just seems to me that to be a smarter thing to have, a half dozen techs working out your issues, right? Each of them being an expert in their field. Doesn't that make more sense? And I think if you couple that with a much lower cost year over year, and I think it's an easy decision for all of us listening to kind of seriously look at this concept of managed technology services to kind of improve our internal processes and save money all at the same time. See? Too easy. All right, folks, I think with that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll let you guys get back to your busy days. And we will catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.